We did probably almost 900, okay, registered Democrats to registered Republicans. The first question I ask is simply this: why are you a Democrat?
So today I'm with George Song, a congressional candidate in the 5th District of New Jersey, and you got 800 registered Democrats to switch to the Republican Party. And I want to know, what did you say that made them switch, given that we live in a very politically polarized time period?
Sure. So thank you for having me. Look, um, we did probably almost 900, okay, registered Democrats to registered Republicans. The first question I ask is simply this: why are you a Democrat? Explain to me. Convert me. And they don't really have an answer. And then I asked them, well, what do you like? Or if they're an immigrant who's recently immigrated over, or their parents were immigrants, um, I asked them, why did they come over to this country? Like my parents who immigrated in the 70s, they came over for a reason: for a better future for their family, for education for their kids, for safe neighborhoods, a lot of really great reasons. And that, I believe, are the tenets of the Republican Party. And that's why I'm a Republican, and that's why I'm running as a Republican candidate for CD5. And when I explain these things to them, and look, it's a developing a relationship. It's not just saying, I'm this candidate, vote for me. It's about investing the time, making the connection, because through that, they get to know who I am, and they know with confidence that they can support me because I will fight for them. And that's how I was able to flip over 800, 900 people to become registered Republicans in a very short amount of time, in 8 weeks. I'm not a politician. I haven't been doing this for years. I've been pretty much been doing this for about 3 months. But in 8 weeks, I was able to do that by the deadline. Um, and when I talk to people too, I say, look, I'm a nobody. No one knew who I was, but I was able to do this. And if I can do it, you can do it too. You don't have to do 800, but if you can talk to a couple people in your neighborhood, a couple people at your church, a couple people at your social club, just two or three people, if you are able to make that connection, do you not think we would be able to change the direction of our district, of our state, of our country? Definitely possible. And that's the message that I'm trying to get across to more and more people, to not only the parents, right, but also to the younger generation too, because our future is at stake. Very worried about our future. And if we don't come together to actually do something, then we might be in trouble. So that's how I was able to flip that many people.
And I want to know, what were some of the specific issues that you focused on when talking to them that these people that you flipped over were concerned about? And what were your answers to that, or answers that the Republican Party could bring?
So a lot of people who are immigrants, or like your parents, like my parents, a lot of parents, people who live in our district, they are immigrants to this country, um, and they came here the right way, right? They were able to get visas, right? They started a business. There are most immigrant families, at least in the Asian community, in the Korean community, which I'm a part of. They are business owners. They're hard workers. Um, and so, but they're feeling the hardships right now of a terrible economy, right? Because their costs are going up. And if their costs are going up, the costs need to be spread to their customers, their clients. And so they're charging more. And they don't want to do that. But at the end of the day, we have to take care of our families. So costs are going up across everything. And that's one major concern that they have. Another is their children's education. I serve on the Board of Education in my town of Paramus, and they're concerned that their children are not learning the right things, the right topics, the right subjects. When COVID was here, schools were shut down. Our children had to learn through a computer. And maybe for you and I, that's possible because we're older and we have functionalized brains, but for young kids who are very young, they don't understand. It's not possible. And we see the results of that. In our town alone, a lot of our scores are down 40% for
Oh well.
for basic topics, like math, science, and history, social studies, language, right? So why are we focusing on absurd things right now? And why are we targeting that to younger children when we should be focusing on the subjects that will make them better prepared for the world when they graduate? Um, Education is very important in the Asian community, right? When I was growing up, it was my parents were like, you got to be a lawyer, you got to be a doctor, that's how important education is. And so, but there's a problem. There's a problem. And so when I ask them, hey, why are you a Democrat? I follow up with, well, do you love Biden? Do you love what he's doing for our country? They're like, no. Like, do you love all your costs going up? Do you love this jaded education curriculum that's coming forth that's affecting your children? Do you like that? Do you like the rise in of crime or illegal immigrants that are coming over to our country and not doing it the right way, like you did or your parents did? Are you happy with that? Because that's what's going on right now. That's what the Democrats are doing. And if you're not happy with that, you probably aren't a Democrat. You probably are a Republican, or at least undeclared, right? You're not a Democrat. So, and when I share that story, I share my story with them. There's a connection there. It's not something that can be manufactured. It's actually a connection that builds over time, but with that communication. And they trust me because I'm from Bergen County, right? This is what I'm representing. I'm representing Bergen County, Passaic, and Sussex County. I was born in Bergen County. I lived here my whole life. So I love this county. I love this state. I love our district. And so they trust me in that. They know I'm not going anywhere. They know I don't want to be a career politician. I'm fighting and I'm doing what I'm doing because I really care for our kids' future and our futures because we're headed in the wrong direction. So when they hear that, that response to the questions that they have as well, they want to join with me in the fight.
Okay, so I appreciate that, and I want to ask you, given your law enforcement background, which I learned a bit about, the FBI recently stated that more police officers were killed from 2021 to 2023 than any other 3-year period in the last 20 years. And I want to hear what your thoughts about this are, and if you entered Congress, what would you do to address that issue?
Well, 100%, I support our law enforcement. I support the blue. Look, they are in a very tough and difficult situation, especially in these days, right? We see enrollment to be in the police academies down tremendously. Nobody wants to serve as a police officer because it's dangerous. I mean, it's much more dangerous now because of what the media is portraying the police as being the bad people. When you see all the protests that are going on the universities, and the media just shows students and police interacting, right? I mean, it's a little skewed there, right? I think the police, we need to empower the police with the ability to enforce the laws and back them. That's their job. It's to enforce the laws and keep us safe. But I know for a fact that a lot of police agencies in our district, in our state, they limit their police officers because they don't want trouble or blowback from the communities. They're limited in what they can do, and that's really unfortunate. When you hear more police officers, the statistic that you gave, more police officers were killed in that short amount of time than any other time. Why isn't that known? Why isn't that in the news media, right? A few months ago, a police officer was killed in New York City. Routine traffic stop. Approaches the car, blown away. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? That happens in 2024. So who would want to serve and go and be a police officer? You know, it's very difficult position, And the decisions that they have to make, they don't have a lot of time to make these decisions. When they're in a situation, it's that in an instant, they have to
Right.
make a life changing decision. So I support them 150,000, whatever percent, because they put their lives on the line every single day to protect us, to protect our communities, to stop the crimes. I live in Primus. So in Primus, we have a lot of malls, right? There's a lot of shoplifting, a lot of store thefts. We have some burglaries that happen in our town, car thefts, that's plaguing our whole state. And certainly there has been a rise in our area with regards to that because more and more people are worried about that. More and more people that I talk to are affected by these things that are happening, and they want it to end. They want it to end, and they want someone in place who they know is going to fight for them and fight and fight and fight. And I'm a fighter. Look, I'm on the board of ed in Paramus, so I fight for our kids and our students. A police officer. I do it voluntarily and also with the police department. Okay. I'm also a firefighter. This morning I was at a call until 3 a.m. because there was a fire on the house. I'm a church worship leader. Been doing that for over 30 plus years. So I want to show that I care through my actions, not from talking points. So I'm not a good interviewer. Maybe I don't say the right things at the right time. I'm not a politician. But what I am is one of you, one of the people here, the residents here who are extremely concerned and are tired of all the false promises that are given to us. And there's no action that takes place. And that's why I'm running for Congress in our district.
And I want to finish up with one other important issue.
Yes.
Given your experience on the Board of Ed, you might have some good input on this. So the average New Jersey property tax bill hit a record high of $9,803 in 2023, up from the previous record of $9,490 in 2022. So that's a 3.3% increase. And the statewide average increased 3.3%. So there was significant variation across municipalities, with 11 towns having double-digit percentage increases, with 92% of the municipalities in the state seeing an increase. So what are your plans to either keep this from going up, or lowering this?
Well, property taxes is probably the number one issue for all local races, right? For on the federal level, don't know how much of an impact we could have on property taxes. It's
Right.
really through the state and through local government. But what I do know as being on the school board is that a good portion of your property taxes goes to the school budget. Recently, we had a budget meeting in Paramus where we were approving a budget, and the budget is over $100 million. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And so what are we doing, right, with regards to our education for our kids? Do you know how much New Jersey spends on each student in the state?
I can't give you a number.
They spend $20,000 per student. So if you're parents and you have a family, you have 3 or 4 kids, and they go to public school from kindergarten to 12th grade, that's 13 years. Multiply 20,000 times 13 years times the number of kids you have. That's the amount of money New Jersey State is putting into your kids, or you paying for your kids' education. The question then becomes, are they actually using that money for your kids? Right?
Right.
And I think we know the answer to that. Probably not. They're not using it effectively, right? So what happens when we see government? It's very bloated, right? Because of all the different initiatives that they have of DEI and all this stuff, well, now you have to hire a DEI specialist. Now you have to hire this specialist. Now that we have HIV issues, we have to hire all these other specialists. And that costs money, right? A big portion of the school budget goes towards salaries. When you have administrators making $250,000 a year, that's a lot of money, right? Where is our money going to? And that's why I'm a supporter of school choice. I feel that parents, they themselves know what's best for their kids. and should be given the resources and the support to be able to choose where they send their kids to for schooling, because they're concerned. They're the most concerned for their children, not the schools, not the teachers, not the people who work there, but parents, right? That's common sense. I'm not making this up. That's an actual fact. Hopefully, you have good parents and they care about you, which they probably do. They're living in your house, and you want them to be in the best environment so that they can learn as much as possible so that they can be equipped and successful when they enter the real world. And so we need to work on maybe possibly the school budgets. How do we trim the fat? How do we be able to, one person that I spoke to recently that I just met, I had I had a 2 hour conversation with her on the phone, and she is a concerned parent. Her child has autism, and she's worried. Where are our funds going? Because she's noticing there's a lot of immigrants, illegal immigrant children entering into our public school system, but they don't speak English. So what does school now have to do? They have to provide translators. And where is that money coming from? That's coming from existing places where that money has been assigned to, being pulled out to be directing to these children. Now, I love children. I support children, but when our own children who are citizens of this country are losing money because of these flawed ideas and principles that are being applied to our schools, I have an issue with that. So there are a number of ways I think we can trim the fat, but we have to have people actually participate, right? We can complain all we want, but if we don't go out to vote, if we don't participate and run for school boards, right, or run for local office, then really, can we complain? Are we allowed to complain? We have to show something. We have to respond. And so I encourage your viewers, your listeners to participate. If you don't want to run for school board, participate in your local, Republican club or your Democrat club, whatever it is, regardless of party. The point is, we're not going in the right direction, right? And it's because of the elite few that are in power it's controlling our direction. And I think if more people came out to vote, to actually support each other as a group, do you think they wouldn't listen to us? Of course they would listen to us, but we have to show up. So that's my last thought, I think, is just to encourage everyone. We have a primary that's coming up on June 4th, a couple weeks away. Anyone in CD5, Bern County, Passaic, Sussex, if you can come out and vote, I would love to have your support. But let's show them this year. This is a big year. We can make a lot of change, but we need to show up.
Thank you. And actually, I do have one more question.
Sure.
So I remember when I was interning in Congress at that time period, there were lots of bills being passed through the House that would just end up dying in the Senate. And given how polarized we are today, I think the focus on bipartisanship and just finding common ground on issues that we can both agree on is needed more than ever. And I just wanted to hear your thoughts about finding common ground or trying to mend the rift between, the political parties today.
We have to mend the rift, right? Like if I'm in Congress and I'm fighting all the time, nothing's going to get done, right? If I'm on the school board and I'm arguing with all the 8 other people who are voting people, if I don't have a good relationship with them, nothing will get done. I'm all for good bipartisanship, but there has to be no like soft corruption. And I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like, well, certain things like, well, if you're a member of this caucus and there is someone who's running against another member in the caucus, right, you can't support that person because you're a member of this caucus. Like that's to me is like corruption, because you're controlling how people. There's no freedom, right? I want honest bipartisanship, right? Like you'll have issues, I'll have issues. Bring them to the table. Let's talk about it. But like, if you bring issues, you have to make sense in why you're bringing the issues. Like you can't just say, "Oh, this," and that's it. You have to have a good reasoning behind it. Today I saw a video, absurd, like Congress people like arguing, like calling each other's names, and that's just so ridiculously pathetic. That's just like This is just absurd. People are looking to the United States for leadership, for guidance. And right now, we're in big, big trouble.
Very unproductive.
It's very unproductive. It's very unproductive, right? Um, I'm not going to Congress to fight against people. I'm going to Congress to find a solution for our residents in CD5. How did I flip the Democrats, right? It's like, I'm not just talking to Republicans, I'm talking to everyone, right? Because at least if I have a seat at the table, I'll listen to you because I'm from here, right? I want to bring people together despite your party, whatever it is. I want to be that normal person in Congress that will listen to you and try to fight for you, right? And fight for your needs. I don't want backing from special interests. I don't want that at all. And I want to listen to you. And that's what my days have been like the last few weeks, months, is just sitting down with people. Some people say, oh, well, you're not meeting enough people. You're wasting your time. No, I'm not wasting my time because the connections that I'm making with these people, they're going to remember me for a really long time. The people that I meet who are running for council, local races, I tell them, I'm here for you. I want you guys to win because if we can create a strong foundation, we can build upon that. So whether I win or lose, right? I think the bigger question is, can we get our message across? Because I think our message resonates really to everyone because it's not extreme. It's not crazy. Like if you listen to those principles that we honor, it's like what everybody wants. It's like what everybody desires, living in this country. So that's what I want to bring to the table. Like I really, really, I'm tired. I'm 45 years old and I'm tired of the lies, the fake promises, the fake caring. Let's get some stuff done. Let's show action. Let's show that we can bring people together and make our place, our district, a better place to live. I'm tired of hearing that so many people are leaving New Jersey. This is such a great state. I've lived here for 45 years. It's a great state. You've lived here. You know how great New Jersey is. So many people are leaving.
And the potential it has.
Yeah. And all the local issues that are going on with affordable housing, that's a whole nother thing that's going on right now. Crazy stuff, right? Look, we need to get stuff done. You need to ask yourself, who is the best person that will be able to win in November to get stuff done? I hope I can get that vote. I hope I get that opportunity. So please support me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.